This is our senior footprint / Draw My Life by Daniel and Josh. Alright, a little bit about us. These are going to be our cartoon representations. That's Daniel, and then I'm Josh. We have an eternal love for each other, of course. A little bit about me. I'm friendly, mostly good grades. I'm very spontaneous and adorable fashion sense, and I love my dog.
So this is me, Daniel. I'm mostly apathetic, however when it comes to my friends, I love them a lot. I have a pretty plain sense of fashion, and I really love my siblings.
So let's start with freshman year. Probably easiest year by far. I came from RSM Intermediate. I brought a couple of friends to Mission, but not a lot. It was pretty far away from our middle school. When I got to Mission, I didn't really know anyone. It was kind of mysterious. I had trouble finding what group and who I was going to hang out with. First period though, I entered math class and I saw two guys staring at me, whispering to each other. And immediately we hit it off after I went to talk to them. They became two of my closest friends during our high school career. Yeah, we went on several adventures together and unbreakable love. Freshman year was not without its problems though. We had trouble as three little fish finding our way in this giant ocean of different social groups. We really didn't know how high school functioned. It was our first time. We looked up to the upperclassmen, seeing as they were out of this world and about to graduate and all that, but not all of them were nice to us. Mission also turned out to have a hierarchy where seniors didn't really talk or socialize with freshmen. I also did cross country freshman year. I wasn't too great at it because I was so out of shape and all that. And the whole idea of getting abs wasn't really fulfilled for me, considering that I had such a voracious appetite. In the end, I consider cross country to be a lot like high school.
Before my freshman year, I attended La Paz Intermediate School. I brought a few friends from Montevideo to La Paz, and they also came with me to Mission. However, when I actually got to Mission, I made even more friends, and some of these friends were from RSM, which I thought was pretty cool. For my freshman year, I learned that the United States was a truly fantastic country, and that I also hated PE. So second semester, I tried to do tennis, but that didn't work out so well, so the following year I decided that I'd do cross country. La Paz was kind of equal to Mission just based on my freshman year experience and that my grades were still keeping up. I also thought initially that upperclassmen were kind of scary, but really it turns out that they viewed freshmen more as friends, not really food.
Daniel and I didn't really get to make friends with each other since we never got the opportunity due to lack of classes together. So sophomore year rolls around and it's really rough for me. With both chemistry and AP Euro, I had a tough time. In Opkins' class, we were assigned a buttload of homework, and he kind of just ditched us, which really crushed our work ethic and mentality. In chemistry, everything went over my head. I was totally oblivious of what several different chem terms meant. The only thing I remembered was mitochondria as the powerhouse of the cell. In cross country, nothing was better. I mean, I was still tired because of all the schoolwork that I had, and my grades dropped severely. Time commitment and priorities were also a problem for me as my grades slipped even further. On the bright side though, I went on several adventures with my friends. We created a K-pop club which really combined all of our passions and strengths together. Also, I managed to meet Daniel this year and we became friends, but he was a little weirded out by my behavior. As a teenage boy, I also dealt with a lot of rejection. Sophomore year was especially tough for me as heartbreaks were common. Rejection combined with AP Euro and chemistry, they both really weighed me down, but my friends and my teachers both supported me and kept me going. That year, two teachers were especially important to me. Mrs. Wenzel, who I had for math, and Mr. Proctor, who was my AP Euro second teacher. So back to Daniel.
During sophomore year, I did cross country, and I thought it was a really positive experience. I also saw that some of my relationships from previous years faded to nothing, but that was okay because my new friends more than made up for it. During sophomore year, I found that I was less of a history person, more of a science person, and that orchestra was becoming something that was really meaningful to me, especially because of all the trips that we went on. During orchestra, I also made a lot of really good friends, and these friends stuck with me for much of the 4 years. My friends are kind of a separate entity from everyone else. I viewed myself as kind of like an enzyme, and they were the substrates that would only fit with me, while everyone else was kind of just out there. In Spanish and Health, I was paired with some of the everyone else group, and because of that, the group projects didn't work out so well. During sophomore year, I took AP Lang, and that was where I met Josh, and here, Josh became one of my friends. And he played cello, and I played violin, and through orchestra, we developed a stronger bond with each other.
So along comes junior year. Wow, that was quick. We're at the pinnacle of our high school career. I finally come face to face with the dreaded IB, which I'd heard so much of from my upperclassmen friends. Studied really hard this year and managed to get really good grades, and my parents were pretty proud. This was the year I also came face to face with the SAT, and even though I got a good score on it, I was still really scared of rejection from my dream school. Eventually the motto push through, it really helped me through junior year. At the same time, me and my best friend decided to evolve our club and create the Invasion Dance Crew. We gained a lot of new members this way, and they eventually became part of our family. Junior year was also a time where I had one of the best experiences of my life, when our orchestra went to New York to perform. It was honestly a bittersweet moment though, because our director for 4 years was finally leaving us to retire. He had been such a big supporter in everything that we did, and it was just honestly really depressing to see him go. At the same time, the end of high school was quickly in sight, but it was so close, but so far.
Going into my junior year, I was kind of bummed that I was going in as number 3, so I tried to rectify this and become number 1. However, if I were to try to do this, I would not be able to do orchestra. It's kind of torn between my academic goals and my passion. However, music I still offered a solution to this. I'd be able to do orchestra while still improving my GPA. That junior year, I had a struggle of finding myself, determining whether I was a follower or more of a fierce leader. I hoped I was more of the latter, but I still wasn't sure. This came to play especially in my classes, but most importantly it came into play in MUN. I wasn't really sure if I was cut out for politics, especially seeing the types of characters that were in the class and were in politics. I was worried about my ability to public speak as well. Then there was a question of college, of the ACT, SAT, and school. I felt like I was under a mountain of work, and there was me starting to keep it all up. Despite all this, I still had my friends to support me, and I was really grateful for that. They always turned the good times into the bad, and they were kind of like my life support throughout this rough time. And then there was Carnegie, which was the highlight of the high school career. And it was a great time to strengthen bonds by touring a new place with familiar faces. And I felt like my relationships with my friends' orchestra really strengthened during this period of time. Then there was tennis. I tried to do this again from my failure in freshman year, but this time I had the support of Harry Lee and Ben Peng to get me through it. Then there was AP testing, and there were too many tests this year, but in the end it was all okay. By the time summer rolled around, there was a question of whether I should retake my standardized tests, and also there was college apps, but I really didn't do anything for those. Finally, after the end of my junior year, I felt like I developed a better sense of self, and this would definitely help me during my senior year.
Senior year's finally here, and looking ahead, we still had a couple hills to go, one of the main ones being IB. If you don't know what IB stands for, it stands for International Baccalaureate, which it's pretty much a world diploma, and it requires a couple EEs, an IA test, and all of it's really expensive. During the summer, I was also stuck indoors doing college applications while all of my friends hung out outside. It was a stressful moment in my life since I was constantly checking whether I got in or not. In addition, with IB and honestly the amount of classes I took, I was distracted from the fact that high school was still happening. This period of time was also where I learned the most that I had ever had before, since the classes were so thought-provoking. I also learned that I was going to become a gaucho at UCSB, which was good. At first I wasn't too happy about it since I wanted to go to UCLA, but eventually I got over it. Looking back after finishing IB, I realized it wasn't worth it as well. The monetary value that you put in really didn't transfer into your college credits. While IB didn't, AP did give me credits, and now I only have 3 years left to go. In addition, as a little side note, I asked a girl from Diamond Bar to prom, and eventually she ended up bailing on me, but I did go with one of my close friends, and she made it really fun. And I realized that prom is something that isn't to be missed out on, because with people that you know, it's always going to be fun. We were really close to the finish line, but I got assigned a project on the way. At this point in time, we're almost done, and we're coming close to graduation. Daniel and I have agreed that we will visit each other and all that.
By the time senior year hit, I was thinking to myself I was pretty old now. I had to start worrying about college apps, and everything for IB was starting to hit. Amidst all the pressure, I still had to decide which college would be right for me. I would be spending 4 years at this place, so I better make a careful choice. School was finally coming to a close, and we were almost at the finish line, but just not quite. My classes senior year were pretty insane. I was taking 10 of them. At this point, I was wondering if high school could have been more fun, but I realized there was really no point in regretting. Nonetheless, I still had the support of my friends to help me pull through. Always inviting me to do stuff and helping me just relax and believe in myself. One of the major hills of senior year was IB, whose value just plummeted once we actually hit senior year. TOK was particularly bothersome. I couldn't really see the point of all its how do you know questions, but nonetheless we all got through it. By the time college acceptance rolled around, we all had some rejections and our ego just plummeted. But in the end we concluded it was alright. We all found our schools, and we were all hoping that our friendships from high school wouldn't fade away. High school was like a road with a bunch of hurdles on it. Sometimes there are mountains that seemed too high to climb, and sometimes we kind of felt like Sisyphus pushing that boulder up the hill only to have it roll back down again. Nonetheless, we still triumphed in the end. We were all able to graduate, and we have won. It's over, and it was pretty cool overall anyway.
One last thing as a closer, I realize this kind of seems like life message, cliche kind of thing, but honestly, high school wasn't supposed to be all work and no fun. It's an experience, and the thing is, we're supposed to enjoy this all together. That's my little tidbit, I guess.